The TV licensing website contradicts itself, which makes it wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you because it really frustrates me. But before we get into that, let me just do a little caveat for this video because it might often sound like I'm heavily criticising the BBC. But please don't confuse and conflate anything to do with the BBC with the TV licensing fee. I know that rhymes, that wasn't intentional. Because I might have my issues with the TV license and the way it's portrayed, the way it's prosecuted more particularly. Because I have a lot of criticism for that, because a lot of people plead guilty to it when they aren't breaking the law. A lot of people pay it when they really don't need to pay it out of fear that they're breaking the law, and all of these sorts of things. And the website, as I'm going to go on to explain in a minute, is contradictory in parts and could be a lot clearer. I think it's heavily biased. And for something that is supposed to be a prosecutorial authority, which it is, it does prosecute people for not having a license when you need one, then it ought to be absolutely unbiased, crystal clear, no ambiguity and no fluffing of the words at all. Which is sort of what I'm here for, to help explain some of those where they might be contradictory. So nothing of that is a criticism of the BBC. So caveat out of the way, let's dive into this, shall we? Let's look at this 3 pages I'm going to show you here. A lot of people write into me, a lot of you guys write into me and say, it's really confusing when we try to tell the TV licensing that you don't need a license. And you go through these hoops and questions and it makes you feel like you do need a license. And then some of you email me for clarification, and then I point you back to the couple of dozen videos that I've done on this very subject. And this one is just a fresh contradiction that springs to mind. Now, looking at this bit here, telling us you don't need a TV license, okay? No TV, not watching TV live on any channel or service, etc., etc. Now, the bit emboldened is the bit that I'm going to look at, which is contradictory to another page, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And in fact, makes this bit wrong, in my view, of course. The law says, this page says, you need to be covered by a TV license to watch or record TV on any channel via any TV service. And then the second one is watch live, and then the third one is watch BBC iPlayer. So let's rule out the second and the third one because any live TV obviously needs a license and BBC iPlayer obviously needs a license. Let's deal with the first one. The law says you need a license to watch or, so we can take either of these in turn. So if we could break this apart for a moment, bear with me. The law says you need a license to watch TV on any channel, on any TV service, which includes Sky, Virgin, BT, Freeview, Freesat, etc. However, some of these services obviously provide on-demand programs. We'll come back to that in a moment, because even the TV licensing website speaks of on-demand and what it means. Essentially, what it means is it's not a live broadcast. You click play and it transfers it, streams it, if you will, from the remote computer to your device. Phone, tablet, computer, TV, whatever. So, the law says you need to be covered by a TV license to watch TV on any channel, on any TV service. However, this page says, on the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, now the fact that they are frequently asked questions suggests that a lot of people need an answer and the answer isn't clear to them what the answer to this question is. Do I need a TV license if I only ever watch on-demand services? Catch-up TV. Unequivocally, this quite correctly says you don't need a license if you only ever watch on-demand or catch-up programs on services other than BBC iPlayer, and you never watch live. And this applies to any device, including TV, So, unequivocally, you do not need a TV license if you only ever watch on-demand TV on any program service. Forget the live bit, that wasn't the question. This goes off on a tangent talking about the BBC iPlayer and then watching TV live, and then this applies to every device. Forget that, that wasn't the question. The question was, do you need a TV license if you only ever watch on-demand services? The answer to that is no. You don't need a whole paragraph to explain this. The answer is no. You don't need a license if you only ever watch on-demand services. But at least it does answer the question in the first bit. Okay, so moving back a stage, this says, just to reiterate, this says the law says you need a TV license to watch TV on any channel on any service. But that's not strictly true, because it's contradicted here. It's contradicted yet further when we look at this page, which talks about what on-demand means, just in case there's any confusion on this issue. On-demand means any program you download or watch that is not being shown as live TV. Again, confusing the issue with live. We're not talking about live. We're talking about on-demand. What is it? Not what it is not. On-demand means any program you download, because you can click download and then take it with you and watch it somewhere else, or you watch it that is not live. So you press play and it plays, including catch-up TV. These programs can be accessed on a website, through an app, on a smart TV service, digital box, or any other device. On-demand also includes exclusive programs only available online. You don't need to be covered by a license to watch any films or TVs that you buy online. And services that provide on-demand or catch-up include BBC iPlayer, so that in itself is confusing, because here it says on-demand means and you don't need a TV license for on-demand, and yet it talks about BBC iPlayer, so that's wrong as well. Services that provide on-demand or catch-up include BBC iPlayer, whereas here it says you don't need a TV license to be covered by watching on-demand services. So I would suggest taking that bit out. It should say except BBC iPlayer, because that doesn't apply. You can't watch BBC iPlayer, even on demand or whatever. But Channel 4 and Sky, Sky Go, etc., etc. But when we move back again to this first page, the law says you need to be covered by a TV license to watch or record TV on any channel. I mean, the record bit, you might infer only applies to live TV, or you might think that you might have a device, a box, set box, or whatever that records the on-demand or whatever somehow. But obviously that's not necessary if it's on demand. But if you have a device that's connected that is somehow recording it, then that's a matter for you. There might be copyright issues there, but that's by the by, different question. But watch TV on any channel via any service. This page says you need a TV license to do those things on any of these services. And yet this page says you don't, and this page talks about what on-demand means. So you can see the frustration. You can probably hear the frustration. My frustration comes because, as a lawyer, if you're going to prosecute somebody on something, and if I'm expected, I've never been to court actually for a TV license offence, or prosecuting or defending it. But if I were to go to court to prosecute or defend one of these cases, it should be absolutely 100% crystal clear as to what this law is, so that people can follow it. And even if there's some sort of caveat here, that should be neatly explained, not contradictory, as it appears to me. In my opinion, it appears to be contradictory here, because you can watch TV, for example, as it says here, services that provide on-demand or catch-up TV. Catch-up TV, the clue is in the word. It's TV. It's catch-up TV, but it's still TV. So it says here you need a license to watch TV on any channel, on any service. That is not true, because on-demand includes catch-up TV, and you do not need a license for that. So you can hear the frustration, because lots of people email me and say, what about this and what about that? And there's a disproportionately high number of people convicted of these offences compared to other crimes. Now, this is, at the moment, still a criminal penalty. There's heavy pressure from ministers at the moment to remove the prosecutorial powers under the TV licence, largely because of the post office scandal and everybody that's been wrongly convicted in that scandal. How many people do we think, let me know in the comments, just put a number on this. How many people do we think have been wrongly convicted of this offence? Given that the Daily Mail reports 47,000 people prosecuted in the year to June 2022, out of whom 44,106 were convicted and given a fine anything up to £1,000. The average fine, I think, is £200 to £300, making it the most common crime in the country, apart from motoring offences, as reports the Daily Mail. And depending on what role you think gender has to play in all of this, I'll leave to you. However, The Guardian reports that figures released last year shows that women make up 76% of the people convicted in 2020. 76% of the 52,376 people convicted in 2020 were women. And the Appeal organisation also has a campaign running about TV licensing, that TV licensing must stop prosecuting people in genuine hardship. And there's a petition running, so I will endeavour to remember to link this in the description below as well. Because the impact of a TV licensing conviction is fairly significant. Not only can a criminal conviction, it says here, come up in a background check for certain jobs or mortgage applications, it can land you in prison if you don't pay the fines. So there is a huge pressure to stop these prosecutions, and if they continue, I would at the very least urge that the wording on the website is 100% crystal clear. Because if an ordinary, reasonable and honest person were to read this page, they might read it to say that the law says you need to be covered by a TV license to watch TV, including catch-up TV, although it doesn't say that here, but it means catch-up TV, on any channel, on any service. So if you were to watch for on-demand or any of the other on-demand services, that is TV, is on-demand TV. So any reasonable and honest person might believe from this page that if you watch on-demand TV on any channel or any service, you need a license. So I would suggest that anybody that has paid the license fee for the sole reason that they believe they need one because they're watching on-demand services, they're due a refund because they've been misled by this website. In my view, it's not legal advice, it's my view. Because a representation that is false gives rise to damages, potentially. My opinion, of course, not legal advice. But if I were in that position and I had paid a fee based on something like this and then sought legal advice, if I had sought legal advice and the advice was that, no, that's wrong, you don't need a TV license to watch on-demand TV, I'd be quite upset by that. I would think, well, hang on a minute, I've parted with money on the basis that I'm supposed to buy a license to do this thing, and then you're not. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts below. Please do make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you like my insight, my guidance, please do subscribe to the channel. That's the only thing I ask of you, apart from sitting through some incorporated partnerships and sponsors now and again, which help me to continue, much to some people's displeasure, but they don't pay my bills. So I don't really care what they have to say. But thank you for watching. Thank you for your time and your patience. Please do subscribe. That's the only thing I do ask of you. And with that, I'll see you next time.